Canada is woefully behind other countries right now in the development of law, but that's why we're seeing right now this onslaught of bill after bill after bill to address some of these issues. And so let me just give sort of that broad, I guess, mapping of all the different areas of the law that need to be scrutinized and developed further. And I think that you've got privacy law. And in that, we have like our data protection laws, the Public Sector Privacy Act, the Private Sector PIPEDA, or the provincial variants, whatever it is. But also generally privacy law, whether individuals can sue someone for an invasion of privacy, for example. We need to develop intermediary liability laws. This would be the online harms legislation piece that we're looking at. And this would be, what should there be the liability and responsibilities of companies? In Canada right now, they're looking at developing a particular law in this space, but at the moment, we've got it in copyright law, or you could sue someone for defamation. So it's probably really surprising to learn that there's, not a lot out there to be able to address these particular issues. Maybe there's responsibilities for spam. There might be responsibilities for privacy breaches, but we don't have one law on intermediary liability like the US and like Europe. Competition law needs to be reformed. If we look at the EU, they're developing AI, an AI Act. Of course, we have our AI bill before us in Canada. So where's Canada placed in all of this? Do we have a late mover advantage? Potentially, because we can take a look at some of the laws being developed elsewhere. In some cases, say intermediary liability, they have, 25-year-old laws that they can take a look at, maybe older, and say, how has this worked and not worked? But I think that right now, the problem is that all of these different laws intersect. And so we're at a point right now where, I said, and public safety and Heritage Canada all have to work together to sort of build out this kind of infrastructure of laws. And if they're not talking to each other and building this together properly, it could end up being quite a bit of a mess. And so I know that some of the bills that have been put forward, I'll look at it and say, well, how's this going to work with the other? This new AI bill that's been put together, is proposed. Well, how is that going to work with the idea of some new online harms regulator that might be created? Because AI is used in the area of, say, in all social media, when you're looking at algorithmic amplification, or if it's for content moderation or whatever it is. So all these different laws intersect with each other. And so right now, we had a discussion earlier about how perfect is the enemy of the good. So we need to get going with all these different bills, but it also has to be thoughtfully done to say, well, how is this all exactly going to work together so that we don't end up just creating an infrastructure that doesn't work? And how is it going to be forward thinking? Luckily, Canada can look at some of its international partners to try to develop that together. And I think we have to anyway to be consistent with, say, trade agreements, where increasingly cybersecurity policy, including issues like governance, online harms, are increasingly on the table for in these different trade agreements.